Morning, everyone. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit subscribe. Also, hit that bell icon if you want to be notified anytime we upload any videos that are saddle hunting related. Also, if you like this video, we would really appreciate it if you hit like. We really appreciate your support. Scott and I thought it would be a good idea to create a comparison video that shows the two methods of climbing that we utilize when saddle hunting. So what we thought we would do is have the same guy climb the same tree utilizing both methods. And what I'm going to do is Scott's going to climb and I'm going to narrate, and I'm going to give key points, especially that will be informative for anybody that's new to saddle hunting, and talk about the differences, pros and cons to both methods, and exactly what Scott's doing, what he's using, and hopefully you guys will see some benefit to it. All right, so I hope you like the video, and stay tuned and check it out. Okay, so what we're going to show you first of all is Scott's going to show you how he climbs into a tree using a stick climbing. Scott's using 4 Hawk Helium sticks, and his sticks have rope modifications to them. He took the factory belt and buckle off of them and installed 8mm accessory cord, and he utilizes that as the strap. It's a little bit, I think it's a little bit faster, makes the setup lighter, and his ropes that he installed are longer than the factory straps that come on the factory sticks. And this way he can get into a larger tree if he needs to access a larger diameter tree than what the factory sticks will get you into. He's also got on the bottom of his first stick, he's got an aider that he, just a DIY aider that he made, gives him an extra step, and it'll get him a little bit higher than the 4 sticks will alone. Some guys like to add an aider to more than one stick, and this way they can get higher up into the tree and not have to carry as many sticks. It just gives you, if you imagine an extra aider on every stick, that might get you another 6 or 8 feet higher without having to carry another stick. So some guys like to do that. One of the things I would recommend if you're new to saddle hunting and when you're using climbing sticks is you definitely want to get out there and practice, because there's a couple of different methods of climbing with climbing sticks. Some guys like to hang their sticks off them, try to make one trip up the tree. Some guys will just hang one stick at a time, go up and down. But you're definitely going to want to practice. Both Scott and I both found that when we first started climbing with sticks, we went into the woods first day and just went hunting with sticks, and you start to fumble around. You realize you really should practice even with that method. So I would recommend you do a couple of dry runs in the off season and practice getting up and down. You might find a couple tips and tricks that will help you get up your tree, make you be a little bit more efficient when you go out there and hunt. The biggest thing I feel with all of this is your safety. So when you're hanging your sticks, or even when you're climbing into your saddle, any of that, you want to make sure everything is right. All your knots are right, your carabiners are closed properly, all that stuff. And you notice right now Scott's not rushing. And when it comes to safety, yeah, you want to get up into your tree as quickly as possible, but you never want to rush. You do everything as quickly as you can, but don't rush it. And what Scott just did right now is he put his lineman belt around, clipped in, and he has a ropeman device on one end of his lineman belt. Some lineman belts will have a ropeman, others will have a prusik. Sometimes the prusik will have a tender, which makes it easier to position back and forth with one hand. But the ropeman is the easiest method to do that. Works really great for that. I highly recommend that you invest in one if you haven't already. You can see right there, he just he wanted to pull in a little bit tighter to the tree, so with one hand he was able to do it while he had his other hand on the climbing stick. And the lineman makes it where you still have 2 points of contact, the lineman and his feet on the stick, yet he's able to work hands free, and it just frees up both hands. In the past, a lot of guys would go out and they would try to hang sticks or tree stands or whatever, and they're standing on a step and trying to hang on to the tree with one hand and do the work with the other, and that's very, very unsafe. This is the best way to do it. One of the things you might notice is one of the benefits to using rope mods is you can tie off your climbing stick and let that rope all the way, hang all the way down. Tie the rope to your saddle, and then you just pull up your climbing stick once you're in position. There's another method where sometimes you could put maybe like a paracord loop or something around your saddle and hang it closer to your body. It's another way of doing it. But sometimes when you have everything hanging on your person up there, I don't know, I find that a little bit cumbersome. So, but some guys like to do it that way. You just have to experiment and see what you like. When we climb with sticks, we also utilize, we always bring our other climbing method with us, even though we have sticks with us. We'll typically carry our 75 feet of 11.4 millimeter Samson Predator climbing line. We'll keep that in our pack as well. And this way, if we're going way back someplace and we want to be ultra mobile, sometimes you could you could use both. You can climb down if you saw some activity and you wanted to relocate really quickly. You could actually use your climbing line. Typically, we wouldn't. I shouldn't say we would use climbing sticks and the rope, but sometimes we'll go into an area where we already have a preset stand location, but we would carry our climbing line with us then, and this way. If we had to make a move, it's just easier to have the rope and carry it in because it's only 5 pounds of gear and you have a means to get up the other tree. So right now what he's doing is he's got his Predator platform and he's going to set position that. Oh, dude. Okay, so now Scott's going to be climbing using the DRT method. And what he's going to do is he's going to use a throw ball to get his line into the tree where he needs it. And what'll end up happening is after he gets his climbing line up into that tree, he can climb up. But what we normally like to do, there's an easier thing to do. In the off season, pre-season, what we like to do is we like to throw your throw ball and line up into the tree in the post and pre-season, and tie off a piece of paracord that will go up and down in a loop, and we'll leave it there all season. And what we do is when we come in, we won't have to throw the throw ball, so it'll cut down your time, cut down your movement and everything on the days you're hunting. So that's always a helpful thing to do. We try to do that as much as possible. But as you can see right there, with some practice, and I'd stress practice with this. Scott is a 30-year arborist, and he's got a lot of experience throwing a throw ball, and it does take a little bit of practice to get really good and proficient at it, but it's not difficult at all. It's like anything else. You want to go out and practice with your bow, practice with everything you do, and the throw ball is no different. And that really is the hardest aspect of this entire method, is getting your line into the tree where you want it and being accurate with the throw ball. So we have a lot of videos with different aspects of that you can look in and look at those, research them, and view them. Different things that you'll run across with the throw ball, and little tips and tricks. So I encourage you to go ahead and look at those. Right now what Scott's doing is just tidying up his throw line, trying to pack it back away. One of the benefits to DRT climbing is you'll see once he's all tied up and ready to climb, you don't need you don't necessarily always need a bow rope. Your climbing line can double as your bow rope, or the rope that you'll use to pull up your pack. I typically use two. I have a Doyle's hoist that I use for my bow. And then what I'll do is I will use my climbing line, which is thicker in the hand, and I'll utilize that to carry my my pack, pull that up into the tree, because the pack is generally more weight, and with the heavier climbing line is a little bit more comfortable to pull that up into the tree. What Scott's doing now is he's tying his Blake's hitch. We have a lot of videos on how to tie a Blake's hitch, so you guys can research that. Now he's tying his tail end of his climbing line to the pack so that he could utilize that to pull it up. In this demonstration, we're not using any bows or anything, but at this point he would have tied his bow as well, but you get the idea. One of the nice things about DRT climbing is that he's always tethered in. From the moment he leaves the ground till the time he gets to the height of the platform where he wants to hunt, he's tied in at all times, so it's a very safe way to get up the tree as long as it's done correctly. As you can see there, he's already up to height. And if he wanted to keep going, he could keep climbing, where he's a little bit limited with his sticks. With his 4 sticks, Scott's able to get probably close to 18 to 20 feet. But with climbing DRT, we carry 35 feet of climbing line, and he's able to get as high as 30 to 35 feet up if he wanted to go that high. So now he's hanging the Predator platform. That's it, he's up to hunting height. At this point, if he wants, he could stay on his climbing line and hunt from that safely, which that offers him a lot of mobility around that tree with that high tie-in point. But if he likes, he can transition to his tether as well. Typically, that's what I prefer doing. I'm more comfortable in the tether. And you're going to find, we both felt that when you're wearing a lot of hunting clothing, sometimes when you're on your DRT line, because of the angle, it might cause your saddle to ride up on you a little bit. But if you go to your tether, it eliminates that. He's pulling up his climbing line now. We like to keep our climbing line tidied up in the tree, and we'll usually either stick it in the pack or hang it up there. This way there's no movement that any deer can see down on the bottom. Also, your climbing line could, end up being like a scent wick if you leave it out. So we like to tidy it up and put it away. And that's all there is to it. So now he's in his set. He's all done with that. Want to show you another aspect of this when he comes back down. One of the great benefits to this climbing is coming back down, because there's no work coming down. It took him approximately 10 minutes for everything to get up and set, and we'll show you how he comes down.
And also, in some instances, I usually carry my bow on my strap on my back, or I'll just have an extra rope to pull my bow up.
Yep.
That's usually what I do.
Right. He, if just in case you couldn't hear him, what Scott was saying is sometimes he'll use another pull-up rope to carry his bow up into the tree, or sometimes we use a sling, and he can carry the bow on his back as well, on his bow sling. So that's just preference. Whatever, you guys will have to experiment with that, see what you like. But you could do it either way.
That's the nice thing about this.
Yeah, what I'd like to do is just show you coming down and rappelling down.
Yep.
So if he wanted to get out, one of the things that's nice about this method is there's no work, there's no effort. It's just a matter of basically rappelling back down the tree.
I'm going to leave everything up here because I got to come back up and grab that GoPro.
Yep. So for Scott, it takes him more time to set up 4 sticks and get set than it does for him to climb in the DRT method. And it's a lot faster coming back down. Because with DRT, he's going to rappel down and pull his rope and he's done. Whereas with the sticks, he's going to have to come down and remove each one individually.
All right.
That's it. He's down on the ground safely. At this point, he'd be pulling his rope. He's not going to pull the rope right now because he has to go back up and get our camera equipment that's up there. But that's all there is to it.
That's it.
It took him less time to do that in the DRT method than it took for him to set up all 4 sticks.
Yeah.
And both methods for us are, we want to have both. There's times where we'll go to our sticks, but whenever it's possible, we like to use the DRT method.
If we're going into a new area, I guess run and gun, and you want to get back far. If we don't have presets in it and we want to do a morning hunt, maybe we know the area. It doesn't necessarily have to be new, but if we know the area we're going into, and like I said, we don't have presets. The stick method will get you in there in the dark, where this, you're not going to throw a throw ball in the dark. So this, in that case, the sticks are superior to the rope. But with presets, as you can see, you just get into a tree, and I didn't even have a preset in this tree, but with a preset, you're getting in that much faster.
Yeah, he would have cut probably 4 minutes off of that.
Yeah, 2, 3, right, exactly. Sometimes I don't always hit it on the first shot either. Sometimes 4, 5, 6, 10 shots, until I get it in.
Yeah.
This is fairly open. There's really not a lot of stuff to compete with that's in my way, but yeah, I just like I said, this for us the DRT really shines. Especially for an afternoon hunt, you can walk in, you can go anywhere, and you find some good hot signs and setting up on it. And you're in. It's minimalist. You're not carrying sticks with you. You're not carrying a stand with you.
It's total of 5.5 pounds of gear total to get up 35 feet.
Right, absolutely.
And it's pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier.
Once you practice it, you get proficient in it, and the hardest part is the throw ball. So definitely want to practice that. Look at our videos that show a lot of the little tips and tricks that Scott has for getting your lines when you're difficult trees. Sometimes there's some trees that are more difficult than others, and it's not going to work in every situation.
No, it doesn't. Believe me, I've had trees, that I've walked away from. I just, I tried and tried and tried, and I just, whether it was a very tight crotch, some trees, you have like shagbark hickories, for instance. I tend to stay away from them because they're just a noisy tree. But sometimes it's a tree you have to get into, but it's tough, really manipulating that throw ball. Getting around the limb and not getting it hung up on that bark. So, that, and I think locust is another one too. Locust, the way the crotches grow, they grow at a very steep angle, and sometimes they're just too tight to even try to get a rope through it. So, it frustrates you more than anything.
Yeah. But for most part, we spend a lot of time trying to get into oaks, maples.
Yeah, oaks definitely. I mean, that's the majority of the trees we like to be in, just because, especially if they're producing acorns. It's a food source as well. So, but yeah, that's about it, guys. I just wanted to give you a comparison on these two methods. So you feel free to pick and choose. I hope you consider DRT. You give it a shot. It's definitely not hard to do. It just takes a little time practicing, and once you get efficient at it, it's an exceptional tool to have in your in your arsenal. Definitely.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. Just wanted to remind you again, do us a favor and hit subscribe, hit the bell icon for just so that anything we put out, you're notified.
Right, we can keep you up to date.
Yep, and if you like the video, hit like as well. And that's about it for now.
That's it.
Climb safe and best of luck.
Yep, appreciate all the support, guys. Thank you.